Hey there, fellow preppers. Today, we're diving into a crucial topic, the 8 foods that might just vanish from grocery store shelves next year. That's right, there's a rising tide of supply chain challenges on the horizon, and it's time to stay one step ahead. After extensive research and conversations with industry insiders, I've uncovered some key trends that could impact your shopping list. So grab your notepad and let's explore what's happening behind the scenes and why these items could become scarce. Don't get caught off guard. Let's talk about how to prepare for these potential shortages together. 8th point, the future of beef. If you're a fan of BBQs and juicy steaks, brace yourself for some potentially unsettling news. Americans are known for their love of beef, chowing down on an astonishing average of 56 pounds a year. That's a whole lot of beef. But recent climate changes and a series of unexpected challenges are putting this beloved protein in jeopardy. Let's dive into the trends that can make beef hard to come by in the near future. Picture the vast sun-soaked pastures of Texas and Oklahoma traditional beef country that have unfortunately turned into dust bowls, with drought wreaking havoc and rain becoming a rare sight. These normally lush landscapes are now stifling ranchers' ability to raise their prize cattle. It's not merely a blip on the weather radar. This is a pressing issue that threatens the very foundation of beef production. The once green fields are brown, feed has become scarce, and the costs of maintaining healthy herds are skyrocketing. Ranchers are left with a gut-wrenching choice: to downsize their herds or watch their livelihoods dwindle. But that's not all. Mother Nature seems to be throwing more than just dry spells our way. Diseases have also started to affect cattle populations, making the situation even bleaker. In addition, processing plants, which are essential for turning these cattle into the steaks we crave, are facing disruptions. It's like a cascading series of unfortunate events for an industry we often take for granted. My friend Michael, who hails from Big Sky Country, Montana, if you weren't aware, described it as an uphill battle. As the expenses of raising cattle continue to rise, uncertainties loom large over the potential returns. For a BBQ lover, this is alarming news indeed. So, what does all this mean for our beloved steaks and burgers in 2024? It's time to face some harsh realities. The days of affordable prime cuts might just be numbered. With supplies dwindling and expenses climbing, we could very well witness a significant hike in beef prices. Imagine making plans for your summer cookout and suddenly finding that the steaks you love are not just costly, they're nearly impossible to find. But here's the silver lining. This challenge could also present an exciting opportunity for culinary exploration. Have you ever considered branching out beyond the classic beef dishes? This might be the perfect moment to embrace alternatives. Bison, with its rich flavor and lean profile, is gaining popularity and could soon be a household staple. Venison, another incredible option, offers a unique taste experience and can be a sustainable choice as well. Don't overlook the growing array of plant-based proteins either. Many brands are crafting delicious alternatives that can satisfy any meat lover's cravings without the carbon footprint. In a world where choices are expanding, diversifying your menu might just be a necessity rather than an option. Preparing for the future means getting creative in the kitchen, experimenting with new textures and flavors, and perhaps redefining what a traditional meal looks like. So while the future of beef may seem daunting, it's also ripe with potential for new tastes and culinary venture. Soybeans. You might think of soybeans primarily as those little legumes featured in your plant-based milk, or perhaps that delightful tofu stir fry you enjoy. But don't let their size fool you. These tiny beans are heavy hitters in the agricultural world. Let's take a closer look at what makes soybeans so special. Not only do they serve as a primary protein source for livestock, think of your favorite burgers and steaks, but they also sneak their way into an array of snacks and processed foods. The truth is, you'd be hard-pressed to find a grocery store aisle that doesn't carry products that contain soy in some form. From soy sauce to edamame, these beans are almost the invisible backbone of our food culture. However, the narrative around soybeans isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Farmers in the Midwest, where the majority of U.S. soybeans are cultivated, are currently grappling with significant challenges brought on by erratic weather patterns. Imagine waking up one day to see your field submerged under unexpected floodwaters, only to face a dry spell the next week that leaves your crops gasping for moisture. It's a true farmer's nightmare. Recently, I had the chance to sit down with Matthew, a passionate soybean farmer from Illinois. Over a steaming cup of coffee, he expressed his frustrations about the unpredictability of each growing season. Every year feels like a roll of the dice, he lamented. Matthew has been in this game long enough to understand the cycles of nature, but these days the stakes seem much higher. As Matthew shared his story, it became clear the issue isn't just a personal struggle for him and his fellow farmers. The repercussions of a bad soybean season extend far beyond the farms themselves. Soybeans are intertwined in various sectors of our economy, from the cost of livestock feed to fluctuating prices of everyday snacks. If soybean production takes a hit, you can expect to feel that impact throughout the entire grocery store. Picture this. So you stroll down the cereal aisle, but prices have spiked due to a soybean shortage. Or perhaps you reach for your go-to granola bar only to find it's either missing or marked up significantly. The truth is, a downturn in soybean yield can send shockwaves through the food supply chain. But why are soybeans facing such uncertainty? Climate change is wreaking havoc across various regions, leading to unpredictable weather patterns that farmers can only adapt to. The Midwest, traditionally seen as a bastion of agriculture, is now under. With farmers unsure of whether heavy rain or a drought is on the horizon, their rush to adapt can drastically affect yield levels. Number 6, rice. When most people think of rice, their minds might instantly conjure images of a beautifully presented sushi platter or a steaming side dish accompanying their favorite Asian meal. However, what many don't realize is that rice is more than just a culinary staple. It represents a significant agricultural powerhouse in the United States. States like Arkansas, California, and Louisiana dominate the rice industry, helping to cultivate millions of tons every year. But what happens when the backbone of such a beloved food faces unprecedented challenges? Enter Carlos, a dedicated rice farmer from California whose family's legacy in rice farming spans 3 generations. With a passion for the land and a deep understanding of his craft, Carlos recently opened up about the struggles he's facing in today's unpredictable climate. Water is truly the lifeblood of rice farming, he insists, and he isn't just stating the obvious, he's highlighting a looming crisis. As drought conditions worsen across the West and infrastructure crumbles under the pressure of changing weather patterns, rice farmers are finding it increasingly difficult to sustain their fields. Not only do they need to water their crops, but they must also deal with outdated irrigation systems that no longer meet the demand of modern farming practices. This is not merely an inconvenience. It has the potential to reshape our dinner tables. As Matt elaborates, the unpredictability has made forecasting their harvest akin to rolling dice. Some years, we get enough water to make a decent yield. In other years, well, let's just say we're being forced to estimate much lower numbers. The thought of rice shortages sends ripples through the agricultural community. But the reality is that this issue extends even further. It could directly impact consumers across the nation. Rice is not just an ingredient. It's a foundational element in countless recipes, a staple food for families, and a key player in American culinary culture. Imagine going to a grocery store and finding empty shelves where bags of rice once stood proudly. Picture standing in a restaurant and realizing that your favorite rice dish isn't available due to supply chain issues. It's a reality that could soon be upon us if current trends continue. With rice being a pivotal part of American dining, from sizzling stir fries to hearty gumbo, the consequences of production drops could be felt far and wide, not just by the sushi enthusiast, but by every household that relies on this versatile grain. Moreover, rice is more than just sustenance. It carries cultural significance for many communities and is celebrated in a myriad of traditional dishes. It's omnipresent during family gatherings, festive occasions, and everyday meals alike. The looming uncertainty around rice availability is therefore not just an agricultural concern. It's a cultural one that resonates deeply with people from coast to coast. As we explore the impacts of water shortages on this essential crop, it becomes increasingly clear 2024 could be a year where finding rice on our grocery store shelves becomes an exceptionally challenging task. As consumers, it's crucial that we pay attention to these agricultural realities so we can support sustainable practices, advocate for responsible water management, and appreciate the hard work of farmers like Matt who are trying to keep the tradition of rice farming alive amidst a shifting landscape. Remember, the rice you took for granted might soon become a rarity. So what can we do to prepare for this possible future? Stay informed, support local agriculture, and cherish the foods that bring us together before they become impossible to find. Number 5, peanuts. If you've ever bitten into a delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich or munched on some crunchy peanuts while cheering on your favorite team, you know just how iconic peanuts are in American culture. They are right up there with apple pie and hot dogs. But hold on to your jars of peanut butter because the peanut industry is facing some serious challenges that could make these tasty treats increasingly hard to come by in the near future. Most of our beloved peanuts are grown down south in states like Georgia and Texas, regions that have long been staples in American agriculture. But lately, Mother Nature hasn't been playing nice. The weather has become so unpredictable that it feels like flipping a coin to guess what's coming next. Too much rain when harvest time rolls around. That's a surefire way to end up with moldy peanuts, and when mold makes its unwelcome appearance, it's trouble for farmers and peanut lovers alike. On the flip side, we have the opposite scenario. Unrelenting dryness. Peanut plants crave moisture, and when they're left high and dry, their growth suffers immensely. Think about it. Healthy, robust peanut plants need the right balance of sunshine and water to yield that beautiful creamy nut butter we all love. If it doesn't rain when it should, those yields can drop faster than a hot potato, resulting in empty shelves and sky-high prices. I spoke with Anthony, a dedicated farmer from Texas who has been in the peanut biz for decades. He shared his frustrations about how the erratic weather patterns make it nearly impossible to ensure a good harvest consistently. You never know what you're going to get. He said it feels like gambling. Anthony isn't alone in feeling this way. Many farmers are left constantly on edge, worrying if they'll be able to produce enough peanuts to meet the ever-increasing demand. So, what does this mean for us, the fans of all things peanut? Well, as harvests become more unpredictable, price tags for our favorite snacks might start to inch up. Imagine reaching for that jar of peanut butter only to find it pricier than a gourmet condiment or worse, empty shelves. It's a real possibility that could happen sooner than we think. In addition to weather woes, let's not forget about other factors that can impact peanut availability. The rising demand for plant-based proteins has surged, and peanuts are often touted as an affordable source, which only adds more pressure to the supply chain. With more consumers gravitating towards healthier options, the competition for peanuts is heating up. For all the peanut butter lovers and snack enthusiasts out there, it's time to pay attention. As we move toward 2024, the combination of unpredictable weather and rising demand could make peanuts a rare commodity. So next time you delight in that classic sandwich or grab a bag of peanuts while watching the game, remember, it might just be your last chance for a while. Number 4, wheat. When it comes to staple foods, few hold as much importance as wheat. This versatile grain is the backbone of countless American diets, forming the basis for beloved items like bread, pasta, cereals, and a variety of processed foods. However, a growing concern looms over this essential crop as unpredictable weather patterns wreak havoc on its production. The U.S. Midwest, often referred to as the breadbasket of the nation, is facing a tumultuous climate that includes severe droughts and unseasonal cold snaps. These extreme conditions are not just inconveniences. They're leading to significant reductions in both the quality and quantity of wheat yields, which could have dire consequences for consumers. Imagine navigating your local grocery store only to find empty shelves where your staple bread used to be. It's a terrifying prospect for many, including farmers like John from Kansas. He articulates the struggle succinctly. This year's yield was one of the lowest we've had in decades. If this trend continues, worry about how we'll manage. His concerns echo those of numerous wheat farmers across the Midwest who are grappling with not just agricultural challenges, but economic pressures that could ripple throughout the entire food supply chain. So why is wheat so crucial? It's not just about the comfort of a warm loaf of bread or a plate of spaghetti. Wheat is deeply ingrained in American culture and cuisine. From family dinners to holiday feasts, this grain plays a key role in our day-to-day lives. But with diminished harvests on the horizon, American households may soon find themselves facing unexpected hurdles, most notably rising grocery bills. As the availability of wheat dwindles, prices for bread and other wheat-based products are likely to surge, straining budgets and altering how families plan their meals. Number 3, potatoes. Potatoes. These versatile, delicious tubers hold a special place in our hearts and on our plates. Whether you're chomping down on some golden, crispy French fries, indulging in velvety, creamy mashed potatoes, or relishing a classic baked potato topped with all the fixings, it's hard to imagine a world without them. Potatoes are a staple food for millions, serving as the foundation of countless comfort dishes around the globe. But here's the kicker. This beloved food might be facing a serious crunch. Let's take a look at the major potato-producing powerhouses like Idaho and Washington. These regions, known for their sprawling fields of potatoes, are starting to experience some alarming changes. Water is becoming a precious commodity, and with climate patterns shifting, the rainfall has been dwindling. You heard that, right? These once reliable snowpacks aren't accumulating like they used to, which means less water for those lush potato fields. And if there's one thing you need for thriving potatoes, it's water. Lots of it. Imagine talking to Sandra, a dedicated farmer from Idaho who has been toiling on her potato farm for years. With a hint of disappointment in her voice, she shared, "We're witnessing a decline in both the size of our potatoes and our overall yield compared to previous years." That's not just bad news for Sandra and her fellow farmers. It also spells trouble for everyone who loves digging into a plate of potato goodness. As the water crisis deepens, what does that mean for you? Well, if you're hoping to enjoy your loaded potato skins or a giant bag of chips during your next movie night, you might need to brace yourself for some unexpected changes. The reality is that with a decreasing potato supply, prices are likely to rise, and you may find some empty slots where your favorite snacks used to be. Imagine showing up at your local grocery store, excited to grab a bag of those crispy fries only to be greeted by barren shelves. It's a scenario no one wants to face. The impact of this water scarcity isn't limited to just fewer potatoes. It also affects various food systems and associated industries. As farmers struggle with lower yields, they might turn to more expensive irrigation methods, which could further elevate costs. This could result in higher prices for consumers and even potentially lead to a potato shortage in some regions. So the next time you're munching on a crunchy French fry or whipping up a warm potato salad, remember Sandra and her struggles on the farm. It's not just about food. We're looking at a broader picture that encompasses sustainability and food security. With climate change making its mark, our beloved potatoes could become increasingly difficult to find, especially if we don't address these vital issues sooner rather than later. Number 2, dairy. When we think of staples in the American diet, dairy often comes to mind as a critical player. From the creamy delight of yogurt to the irresistible melt of cheese, dairy products are a daily indulgence for many of us. However, as we look toward 2024, the future of dairy could be anything but certain. The dairy industry is currently navigating a multitude of challenges that threaten not only the farmers, but also consumers' beloved dairy products. Climate change has emerged as a formidable adversary, directly affecting the quality of feed for dairy cows. When weather patterns shift unpredictably, it doesn't just impact crop yields, it has a cascading effect on milk production as well. Farmers are finding themselves facing a double-edged sword, wherein the very climate that nourishes their cows is simultaneously jeopardizing their livelihoods. Take Sheila, for example. He owns a family-run dairy farm in Wisconsin, where generations of her family have dedicated their lives to this trade. With the flick of the weather vane, she finds that every day can bring a torrential downpour or an unexpected drought. Every day is unpredictable, Sheila confides. While the demand for dairy remains steadfast, our ability to meet that demand is constantly challenged. This could mean that Americans will soon see a spike in prices for their morning milk or that delicious yogurt they can't start their day without. Labor shortages are adding another layer of complexity to the situation. As fewer hands are available to help on farms, the efficiency of dairy production is put at risk. Many young people have turned their sights away from agriculture as a career, preferring paths that promise more stability or higher pay. This has left dairy farms like Sheila's struggling to find workers who are willing to endure the early mornings and hard labor that comes with dairy farming. The culmination of these factors paints a bleak picture for the future of dairy in America. Moreover, it isn't just about price increases. Availability could become an issue as well. Imagine heading to your local grocery store for a carton of milk, only to come back empty-handed. The days of dairy shelves being stocked with an array of products from creamy ricotta to luscious brie may soon be over if these challenges continue unabated. The beloved ice cream that we all crave during summer barbecues might become a rare treat, reserved only for special occasions due to spiraling costs and scarcities. In the coming months, it will be crucial for both consumers and farmers to adapt. Innovative farming practices, better climate adaptation strategies, and community-supported agriculture could emerge as significant players in safeguarding the dairy supply chain. The dairy industry needs fresh ideas and vigorous support from consumers who care about sustainable sourcing. Poultry, the chicken crisis. Let's kick off our list with a food staple that many of us take for granted, chicken. For years, picking up a pack of chicken breasts from your local grocery store was as easy as pie. But hold on to your hats, because things have taken a turn, and it ain't as straightforward as it once was. Our feathered friends are facing a significant conundrum, and it's about to impact how much chicken we can find on our plates in 2024. So why the sudden crisis? It all boils down to two main ingredients that make up a significant part of chicken fat, corn and soybeans. These essential components have become increasingly scarce, causing a ripple effect throughout the poultry industry. Picture this, you wake up one morning and find out that these basic staples have become hot commodities. Yeah, it's enough to cause a seasoned prepper to lose sleep at night. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Enter the avian flu, a virulent virus that has swept through flocks like an unwelcome storm. Farmers across the nation are scrambling to contain outbreaks, culling infected birds in the hopes of keeping the remaining flock healthy. If you think about it, it's kind of like Mother Nature's way of throwing curveballs at an already stressed industry, a real-life game of Survivor, but with poultry. And it doesn't end there. We also have to consider the disruptions in processing plants. From worker shortages to logistical nightmares, the entire supply chain is being challenged. Processing plants are struggling to keep up with demand while facing their own set of hurdles. Just imagine a roller coaster that never quite knows when to slow down. It's a bumpy ride for everyone involved, from farmers to consumers. Just last week, I had a chat with my friend Emily, who runs a poultry farm down in Georgia. She shared her firsthand experience of this unfolding crisis, and trust me, it's eye-opening. Emily painted a picture of rising feed costs, ongoing challenges in processing, and the sheer unpredictability market prices. It's not just a bad day at the office. For her and countless others, it's a perfect storm brewing over the poultry industry. Now, let's think about what this all means for you and me, the everyday consumers. We're all excited about enjoying our favorite chicken dishes, whether it's crispy fried chicken, smoky barbecue wings for game day, or a comforting chicken soup on a chilly evening. But if this situation continues on its current trajectory, we might find ourselves in a tight spot. It's not just about craving that delicious meal anymore. It's about digging a little deeper into our wallets to satisfy those cravings. As we look towards 2024, being unable to find affordable poultry could become a reality. Prices might skyrocket, making it increasingly difficult to enjoy those chicken dinners we love. So if chicken is one of your go-to foods, it might be wise to strategize and consider alternatives or stock up while you still can. In conclusion, the challenges facing the poultry industry are just a glimpse of the broader food supply issues that could arise in 2024. As we navigate these uncertain times, it's essential to remain informed and prepared. The reality of rising prices and potential shortages will require us to adapt our eating habits and explore alternative protein sources or plant-based meals. And by staying proactive, whether through meal planning, exploring local markets, or making adjustments to our diets, we can mitigate the impact of these shortages. Let's embrace flexibility and creativity in our kitchens, ensuring that we can still enjoy delicious and nutritious meals even in the face of scarcity.